In 2008, U.S. News reported of dead zones off the Gulf of Mexico resulting from fertilizer runoff from Iowa corn farmers. Why is this important? Because of externalities. The definition of an externality is when a market transaction affects a third party in a monetary way. In this case, the externalities have been imposed on locals near the Gulf of Mexico. Let's talk to some of the locals to see how this has affected their daily lives. We're here with Megan Fox, one of the locals on the Gulf of Mexico. Megan, how long have you lived here?
Well, I've lived in this house for 20 years, but my family has owned our house for 3 generations.
And how has the dead zone affected your daily life?
We do go to the ocean a lot and do a lot of activities around there, but recently a lot of my kids have been getting whooping cough, and so the vaccination costs for that are really expensive. Plus I'm pregnant with another child, so our medical bills have gone up increasingly very fast, and we cannot afford to keep covering all these costs because of this.
Have you tried to move because of the dead zone?
Yes, we've tried to move many times throughout the year, but our house depreciated and now we don't have enough money to move or cover the cost of our medical bills if we were to move, because we'd lose a lot of money on the house.
You've tried to move, but you can't because of this dead zone. It's depreciated the value of your home, and you have medical bills. Do you even eat corn from these
No
farmers?
one in my family eats corn. We're all actually allergic to it. So we've never eaten corn our whole life, and it's been affecting us for the past few years.
Thank you for talking with us today, Megan. As you can see, the negative externality has affected Megan Fox and others in the area in a monetary way through medical costs and the depreciation of their homes. They're losing money.
Hey, I almost didn't see you there. My name is Bert Matthews. I'm a local fisherman. Recent leaching of fertilizers and pesticides in the Mississippi and to the Gulf of Mexico have put a great strain on my fishing business. The pollutants that go down the Mississippi into the Gulf reduce the oxygen levels in the water, which cause dead zones. These dead zones make it near impossible for aquatic life to survive in the areas that I fish. This causes me to have to travel farther offshore, which increases the costs of gasoline and other inputs that I take in my fishing business. Also, the pollutants negatively affect the nutrition of the fish. This could also harm the people that eat the fish that I catch. Yeah, it's not the best situation for me. My profit's gone down because there's less fish to catch, you know, and these people think they're eating something nutritious, and it's just not anymore. And it pisses me off. It really does. It does. And I don't even eat corn. I don't even eat these crops that these farmers are producing and just leaching their pollutants into my waters.
I'm Zach, and this right here is my family's corn farm in Iowa. They've been farming here for over 100 years. I don't plan on changing anything with it. A couple years ago, a big ag firm signed me to produce corn for them. I sell them the corn that I make. I use pesticides and fertilizer in order to maximize my production of corn. Without the use of these, I can't produce nearly as much corn. The more corn I produce, the larger my profit, because the big firms will pay me more money to get them more corn. I don't plan on changing the use of the pesticides and the fertilizer because of that reason. If I don't use the pesticides and fertilizer to produce my corn, then I could possibly lose money because my production won't be as high, and possibly lose my contract with the ag firm that signed me.
Okay, everybody, please go ahead and sign in on the sign-up sheet over there, please. Awesome, thank you. All right, so today we're going to discuss how the negative externality of corn production is affecting consumers in society. So, first we have the corn producers producing the corn, and then we have the wholesalers, retailers purchasing the corn, which is causing this negative externality in the market. So can anybody tell me what the marginal private cost stands for? Thank you for reiterating what I just said. Can you tell me what it stands for, please?
It's the costs that are within the firms. It's the costs that are between the two people involved in the transaction, the two parties.
You're close. Not quite. Not quite. So the marginal private cost, you said you had part of it right before, right? It's the cost of the firm to what? Produce, right? To produce it, the units needed for the demand. All right, so we have the marginal private cost is the cost for the firm to produce an additional unit at a given price, right? Okay, now we have the marginal social cost. What is the marginal social cost?
Cost to society.
And the cost, and the private cost.
You know what, you guys are doing a fantastic job. I'm going to give you guys both a slip. There you go, there's one for you and one for you. Awesome, slips, All right, okay, so at P star and Q star, this is the acceptable rate for firms to produce. The reason for this is we look at the compensation of the firms and to the consumers and society. So at those points, it's acceptable because the money that comes in for the firms can be basically given back out to society if chosen to be, which makes it somewhat acceptable. It doesn't really work that way, but just work with me here. Now I'm going to talk about the marginal external costs. So the total cost to consumers for the externality is going to be the area under the curve right here. The reason for this is because under this area, at this point, only the marginal private costs to produce are incurred by the firm. If we go above this line, then at MSC, we have costs that are incurred by society. So they're taken on by society, and that's why they're not covered. So the total cost to society and the externality as a whole is going to be in between those two curves right there. Yes?
What do those costs include?
So those costs include the marginal external costs and the marginal private costs. That's
What are the external costs again?
The external costs are going to be the costs to society that.
That's what?
Like, so in this case, would it be the fishermen?
Right. So since we have this pollution going on, right, and the flow of the fertilizer and the corn is flowing down through the Gulf of Mexico, what's happening is it's driving the fish out of the Gulf, and so the fishermen are going to, and it's all polluted. So the fishermen are going to have to go further distances, spending more money on gas to do this, causing an externality for them. And since there's pollution in this area around the Gulf of Mexico, the housing prices, the prices of homeowners is going to decrease, causing a negative externality for them. So basically they're losing money in their transaction of purchasing a home or land, et cetera, et cetera. So at P star Q star, the reason why it's acceptable is because the marginal benefit or the marginal willingness to pay is going to be equal to the marginal social cost. So basically what that's saying is that for each additional unit produced by the firm, the benefit to society is going to equal the marginal external costs and the marginal private costs that are being produced when creating an additional unit at a certain price in the firm, for the firms. Go ahead.
Today, we have seen the devastating effects that this negative externality has had on the fishermen and homeowners along the Gulf of Mexico. We've also gotten a chance to talk to the farmer and see how their transaction with fertilizer companies has negatively affected these third parties. Thank you for watching. This has been a Group 5 special report.
Special. Very special.
Ew. What is that from?
Austin Powers.
The corn and Austin Powers. Say that one more time, please.
I got bigger chunks of corn in my crop.
That is so good.